Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of B is for Build. Today's episode, if you're only here for the real exciting ones, you might want to wait till tomorrow because this is a technical one. We're gonna figure out the answer to the really tough question: where does the engine go? When I did my original designs with this car, there was a lot of controversy over moving the wheel arches within the fender because a lot of people said, keep the car the way it was built, don't move the engine, or don't move the wheels. Either way, I've been trying as hard as I can not to do that, and that's why I decided to move sheet metal rather than changing the engineering of the BMW's suspension geometry and all that other layout that it already has for us. A lot of people misunderstood this. It's exactly what we're going over today because I have to figure out where on this frame do I put the engine mounts so we can bolt up the front suspension and the engine, because the front subframe holds the engine mounts. So the front subframe tells where the suspension goes. It also hangs onto the engine. So I got to figure out where on the subframe that goes. That's my job for today. Now I got to admit, I thought this was one of those things that we really couldn't even try and do until we had the body on the frame. But now that I have the body on the frame, I'm starting to realize this might have been a thing that we could do, but it's definitely going to be better and more precise now that we have the body on the frame. So the first thing that I need to do, I have a digital representation of this car in 3D space, all to scale and to size. But what I don't have a digital representation of is this frame and how it reacts with the car body. So the first thing that I need to do is take measurements of just pretty much every single thing here. I need to figure out the center line of the rear wheel arch to the front line of that versus the frame rail, frame space up here, so we know exactly where to measure from to measure to the front to smash our engine mounts in. I need to measure center line from engine mounts to rotor, engine to back of engine, side to side on the engine, height and width and everything. So that's what I'm gonna do first. I'm gonna write down a ton of measurements. Okay, I think I've taken every single measurement that I could possibly need to carry on with this thing. So this day went totally sideways on me. I seriously thought that I was coming in here to test fit the body on the frame and I was gonna cut some of these supports out and set this thing down on here and see how it looked and maybe build some roll cage and stuff. And that all sounds fun, but we can't do that until we know how high the body needs to sit on the frame. So that's the really interesting thing is we don't know how high the body sits on the frame. And so we can't build any of that other stuff until we figure that out. And we can't figure that stuff out until we figure out ride height. And so the only thing that we know really right now is that the engine needs to be mounted on the frame rails with the frame rails the same height as they are right there in comparison to the frame rails in the rear. That's the only thing that we know. So basically the next step, although I really wanted to start playing with this body and doing stuff, the next step is to mount the suspension over here and start looking at, it's to mount that, that front subframe to our frame. Then we can mock the suspension. Then we can basically set this frame on wheels and tires and we can start mocking the suspension versus the body and actually get a better idea of what we're looking at. So, and then we can mount the body, of course. So, next step, now that I have all my measurements, we need to go jump into 3D space. And the way to do that is to go home. All right, we're down here in the studio. You guys ever done that thing where you drive all the way home and then you realize you forgot the measurements you were there to take in the first place? That's what I did today, so I had to drive back and now we're back. So we're here in the studio. We are on the 3D program looking at the car. You guys remember this, right? This looks like a car, eh? Yeah, it's a bit of a work in progress. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take this digital model right here that is to scale, and we're going to use it to decide the engine placement and how that's going to affect the wheel and fender placement. So the first thing that I got to go ahead and do is mock up a mock engine that'll just look like a cube, some mock motor mounts, and a mocked front suspension, front subframe. And then we will place those in the engine bay of this car. That way we can start figuring out where things land. All right, so what we've built here is a representation of just a cube that represents the outer boundaries of the engine. Two little pucks right here that are representative of the motor mounts, and then these discs right here are essentially mocked rotors. They're not to scale, but they are the correct center line for the rotor. So the way that this works is underneath here you have a subframe that has motor mounts attached to it, these little guys, that at the end of the subframe you have your rotors, your knuckle, all the stuff that holds your wheel on there. And then since the subframe has the motor mounts, the motor bolts into the subframe, and then the subframe bolts into the frame over here. So all these things, this gets into the don't move the engine. Pay very close attention if you want to argue with me about moving the engine versus the suspension versus the wheels versus the wheel openings, etc., etc. All of these things are one unit from BMW factory, meaning that this engine was designed to sit over the wheels at this angle, at this level of this far forward, this far up and down, etc., etc. Now let me point out that the wheels, as far as up and down, these things aren't to scale. It's just side to side, just horizontal measurements at this point. So this is how it's designed from BMW for these things to all move as one unit. I could have done a little bit better, I guess, explaining that with some more pieces, but just follow with me here. If you didn't feel scared about making this thing work up until now, you will in a second or so. When we grab this unit, look at this unit as everything that's on that hoist back in the shop. It is the engine that's held up by the shop crane. It's the subframe that was just below it. It's the motor mounts. It's the knuckles. It's the rotors. It's the brake calipers and everything like that. Now we can move this around anywhere we want in 3D space and anywhere that we want in the car, anywhere that we want it to land. Now when we start to bring it over into the car is where it starts to get really scary, because it has an immense height. It's very, very tall. And let's just say, now again, these circles right here, these two, can go up and down any way we want. We don't know the actual relationship. We just know the horizontal. So I'm going to move them up a little bit more. Now, if we weren't to move the wheel opening on this car, if we were to leave this arch, this wheel opening the same, we would have to place the engine right about here in the car. Now, what my game plan originally was, before I had all this stuff exactly dialed in, was to kind of put the engine a little bit somewhere where it would fit a little bit better, say right about here. Oh no, I lost it. There we go. And then move the wheel arch opening, move the fender arch opening, as in cut the metal out of it and move it backwards. So you'd have, you know, your wheel would be over here, and we'd change that up. As I look at this in 3D space, I'm thinking we have to find out if it's possible to keep our motor mounts where they are, but move our subframe and our rotors far away. Now let me show you the problem with that. Let me build a representation of the subframe to make this a little bit more clear. Alright, I have made a really terrible representation of the front subframe. It's a little bit hard because I've made the width completely arbitrary and the height of some of these things as well. So it's a little bit difficult, but let's just not worry about the details that don't matter. So now comes the question. Okay, so you have your engine right here, and this is the front of the engine. And with the front of the engine, you have all the pulleys, all the power steering, all the AC compressor, all these different things are on the front of this that create this extreme height that we see in the engine here. And they all are able to fit inside the engine bay of the M5 because they're in front of the subframe. So the subframe runs through the back side of the engine, kind of like that. So the engine is at its tallest point in the front. Let me just say it like that. So if you were to go and be like, all right, you know what, we need to move the engine around. If you move it to right here, you've actually created a situation where then it would have to go up much, much, much higher to something like that. And then your engine won't fit in any car. Like it might fit in like a Dodge Ram truck. So it's too high. So let me bring it back down. So if we're going to move the engine, which I'm with you guys, it seems like we have to move the engine at this point. We have to move it back the entire distance of the width of the subframe so that the auxiliaries land far behind the subframe. It's looking like the Datsun Z might want that. So now, let's everybody, I haven't done this myself either, just cross our fingers and see what happens when I try and slam this concept into here. So we're taking our motor mounts now. They're sticking with the motor wherever they were before, and they will bolt onto the frame. The front subframe motor mounts will not be used. That's where our wheel wants to be. And our engine and motor mounts are independent of that. Alright, so if we look at this, it means that we can put the engine, yes, I realize the engine's still coming out of the hood. I'll figure out that issue a little bit later. We can put the engine roughly, let me do a measurement on that space, roughly parallel to the center line of the front rotors. So the front of the engine will be roughly parallel to the center line of the front rotors. Give or take a little bit of room. So it'd be right up against the firewall, and the front suspension the front suspension, oh, strut towers are going to be tricky at that point. We'll figure that out. The front suspension and the front steering rack and all that stuff will be right there. We're going to have to get really tricky with how then we reroute the steering column for the steering wheel, because it's going to be going up way further than it's used to. I really didn't want to have to build a front mid-engine car first time I was trying to build a car, period, but I'm not really seeing a possibility of not doing this. Okay, sorry, off camera I just had a mini panic attack and about a 30-minute thinking session reviewing photos that I have, and I was just double checking that we're going to be able to pull this off, and I think we're going to be okay. So this front subframe is built to do two things. It holds the suspension together for the wheels so they can steer, the suspension so they can have shocks and bump and go up and down, as well as so that it has your steering rack in there and stuff like that, as well as its job was built to hold the engine. So it had motor mounts to hold the engine. So we are going to be removing the job of holding the engine. That's going to be done right off of the frame rails, a little bit more traditional. Well, no, I wouldn't say traditional. Plenty of cars do it both ways. Frame rails are where we're going to build our engine mounts off of that will hold our engine. That will allow us to thin out a little bit our front subframe and remove the things that were on there built solely to hold the engine, to give us a little bit of space. Another thing to remember is that in this car and in most cars, the frame rails run parallel to the engine like what we're seeing here. Frame rails run parallel to the engine like we're seeing here. Engine is always enclosed within the frame rails, meaning all the little pulleys and the belts and stuff that are running on the front of the engine here fit within the two frame rails, and then it goes down, and then your struts and your axle, or well, yeah, you kind of have an axle, you got the rotor, the knuckle, that's all on the other side of the frame rail, so you have strut and on the other side. So there's this dividing line. The thing that we're going to have going on here is the front of our engine and all the complicated steering and suspension BS are going to be like dead straight with each other. So they're going to be very similarly spaced, but just following the same rules as before. They're divided by this bar always anyways. We shouldn't have a problem. So in the stock car, there's a frame rail that runs beside the engine, and the suspension never goes inside that frame rail, and the engine never goes outside the frame rail. So it shouldn't matter if you're going to squish them next to each other. It's just going to be an issue of maybe not even hoses, because there aren't any, but hopefully just making sure that we can clear that space. If the front of the engine gets hung up on the back of the subframe and we can't figure out how to get it out of there, we're going to be in big trouble. But I think that is good enough to move on. So the answer to my question is, where does the engine go? The new answer is, it doesn't matter. We're going to put the engine pretty close to the firewall where it kind of naturally wants to sit. The question now is, where does the front suspension go? And it goes where the Datsun really wants it to land. Also, we do have this massive problem now of where do we fit the radiator. I'll figure that out, don't worry. Rear mounted radiator. we'll figure that out as well. It might have to just try and find a nice cozy spot, or we might have to aftermarket develop a different radiator that fits, that's maybe a little bit wider, but then less tall or something like that to fit in the front of the Datsun. To do this, we're going to have to lengthen our power steering line and our steering shaft that goes from the steering wheel forward. It's going to have to snake around the entire engine somehow and then get into the power steering, the rack for the power steering. So that'll get tricky. That'll be a little bit of custom fab, but that's all you really need to, that's the only two things that connect the engine to the front subframe, is one power steering line, and then the other one isn't even technically the engine, it's the steering wheel. I worry a little bit because I've heard that BMW has all sorts of crazy sensors and stuff like that that may get mad if they find out that if it notices that we're doing this stuff, but hopefully it won't throw the car into limp mode forever. If we pull it off though, we will have a front mid-engine V10 Datsun, which will be really, really good for keeping the weight in the center of the car. It would be a fantastic, you can just tell by thinking about it like this, like it would have a fantastic weight balance. As far as weight distribution and stuff like that, and centering the mass and centering the weight. It would be really, really good. So it's a bit of a game changer for me today, but I'm not seeing any crazy blockers. I think we can pull this off. So this will be good. We're basically, when you think about it, we're building, so the S2000 has the exact same type of layout with the engine in relation. So we're basically kind of building like a V10 S2000 on crack with a 35-year-older body, which honestly, if I would have just cut the body off an S2000 and put a 240 body on it, we would have been in about the same spot. They'd both be crazy to drive. This car will be crazy to drive because it will be like a V10 S2000. And if anybody knows what it's like to drive just a normal S2000, they have a lot of snap oversteer. So this will be a scary car. That'll be for sure. Oh man, so much work to do. I just want to get to work, but it's super late. So that's what I'm going to call it for the night. Thank you guys so much for watching. We are going to take a break from Mother's Day, so look forward to that. Today is Saturday, so it'll be 2 days break, and then we'll be back on, and we'll get that front subframe put in place. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know a lot of you guys are going to be happy that I'm not moving the wheel arches, so rejoice in that. I can't wait to see the positivity in the comments. I'm sure it's going to be great. All right, I'll catch you guys in a couple days. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the support. I'll see you then. Peace!